Super Troopers was released at the Sundance Film Festival in 2001, but would not get its United States debut until 2002. That's when it became a cult classic amongst a bunch of high schoolers and college kids in the mid-2000s. This past weekend, coincidentally on 4/20, Super Troopers 2 was finally released 17 years after the original. Did it beat the original? Did it add to the story? Find out here on Hollywood Hot Takes. Now, before I continue, there will be some minor spoilers ahead in Super Troopers 2. I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you, so I'm not going to give you the major spoilers, but there will be some minor spoilers that I think will give you some context on my review. So if you don't want to hear them, stop now and then go see it, and then come back later and see if my review makes sense to you or if you like it. So Super Troopers is a stoner comedy that is based on the Vermont State Troopers and their shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans?
Thank you, Farva. Yes, I did say shenanigans. Now get back to cleaning your toilets. So we pick up now with the same 5 members of the Vermont State Troopers who, and here's a spoiler from the Super Troopers, who then became Spurbury policemen. But then you realize at the beginning of the movie, they got fired for what is called the Fred Savage incident. And I won't go into what the Fred Savage incident is, but it is quite hilarious, and you should definitely take a look. It's a running joke throughout the whole film. Mac and Rabbit are construction workers with Farva as the site supervisor starting off the movie. Foster, I don't even really know what Foster was doing. He was with Ursula still. They are having to take over this Canadian town where the United States is saying, oh, this is now our land, even though we said it was Canada's, so you need to get in there and establish U.S. control. And so throughout the movie, there's more shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans?
God damn it, Farva. I said shenanigans, okay? It's okay. Just let it go. Let it go. So, in the movie, there's 3 Mounties. Most notably, Will Sasso from Mad TV. He's a Mountie. And Will Sasso is hilarious. And in this movie, he's great. Here's some things I liked and I didn't like about the film. Moving forward. So, in the second Super Troopers, they did bring back the traffic stops that were so iconic from the first Super Troopers, but they were not as spread out as the original Super Troopers were. So, in the original Super Troopers, you obviously had the one in the beginning with the 3 stoners, and then you had the one in the middle with the foreign couple who steals the Porsche. And you also had, towards the end, the big scene with the Spurbury police, that where their traffic stops, you know, while they're drunk. And it's just one of the funniest parts of the original Super Troopers. But in this film, it was all kind of in 5 minutes. And I think they could have spread them out a little bit more or made some more plot for everyone to have more of the traffic stops moving forward. But they just really combined them all in this big rush, kind of like they did at the end of Super Troopers 1, into this one big scene of traffic stops. And I think they could have done it better. But I did like the traffic stops. They were more original, and they were really funny. And that's where you can see Broken Lizard's genius is in those traffic stops. Now, in the first Super Troopers, you had the three stoners to start the film, and it was immediately funny. And I think they missed the boat on the second Super Troopers, is they didn't make it as funny. The opening scene was really not that funny, and there were some chuckles in there, but it wasn't really that great as being funny. And I think they missed the mark on that one. But the laughs did come later on the film, but when you're trying to do a stoner comedy that people have been waiting 17 years for, you might want to have a stronger opening scene, which they did not in Super Troopers 2. Some may look at the Rotten Tomatoes page, which, I'll be honest, I'll have it right here, 35% as the critics meter, so critics didn't like it. But I will also say that the original Super Troopers also had a 35% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was not very well received by critics back in 2001, 2002, but it still became a cult classic that everyone loved. So don't look at critics. If you like the original Super Troopers, I do think you will like Super Troopers 2, although I do not think it's better than the original, because like I said earlier, the opening scene was not as funny, and it took a little too long to get funny. But once it did, overall, I give this film a 3.5 stars out of 5. Now, this is the sequel to the original that a lot of people liked, and it's just not as funny as. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't stand on its own as a decent movie. It is a good movie. I think if you don't understand the first one, you're not going to understand the second one. So it was very important to try to know the characters going into the film. But I assume if you're watching this, you've already watched the original Super Troopers, and you're deciding whether you're going to watch Infinity Wars this weekend or try to watch Super Troopers 2, or both. You should watch both. But moving forward, the film does do a good job of sticking to the original characters, doesn't try to switch them up as much, and it really delivers on the type of comedy that Broken Lizard is famous for. But if you're expecting it to be a lot like the original Super Troopers, I would say it's more like Beer Fest than the original Super Troopers. So thank you for watching my review of Super Troopers 2. If you'd like, click that subscribe button. Make sure to like the video as well, and comment below and tell me what you think about the film. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Hollywood Takes. Also, follow my Facebook page at facebook.com/Hollywood Hot Takes. But my name is Chris Flanagan. This is Hollywood Hot Takes Review on Super Troopers 2. And we will be back next week with a review of the Avengers Infinity War movie. And we will make sure to keep you apprised about updates on that on Twitter and Facebook. But I will look forward to seeing you next week for our review of Avengers Infinity Wars. See you then.